9 minutes to 9. Welcome back to Sunrise Today. Well, we'll continue our focus on the ongoing national conference. What do we expect from it? Well, we're joined now by Mr. Chima Nnaji. Dr. Chima Nnaji, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, looking at this, we've heard Robert Clark, SAN's comment on this, because there's this division in that conference about what happens to their resolutions. They can't seem to agree on whether or not the referendum should go to the National Assembly or how should they proceed. From what you've seen so far, could this be teething problems that they will face and then maybe much later move on to the business of the day? Or do you see these challenges they are experiencing at this early stage filtering into proceedings, perhaps all month or throughout the duration of this conference?
If care is not taken, we will spend the next 3 months arguing on procedure.
The next 3 months?
Yes.
How can that be?
The seed had been sown, ab initio. When you bring snake, scorpion, human beings, goat, lion, sheep, and put them together to have a consensus on the issue of who should be the victim for lunch, your guess is as much as good as mine.
It's not an animal kingdom.
Well, you have thought. In fact, the learned SAN who just left here had his fingers on these facts, and I agree with him. And much earlier in the day, much as we agreed that there is an absolute necessity for us to talk sincerely to ourselves, you know, as the means of resolving some of the fundamental issues that divide us, because we all want to be united. Okay? If you are a good surgeon or a doctor, you must open the wound before you begin to apply. But if you apply cosmetics, say, okay, just rub it, it might heal, because we cannot see eternity. It might heal before the end of eternity, but it may never heal in your own lifetime. Oh. So, when we talk about the composition of this conference, you find that A.C. Catherine said, I'm interested in tomorrow, because that's where I intend to live. Many of those people there have no tomorrow in this country. We don't own life. I am not the owner of life. But even if they are alive for the next 100 years, they have spent their today yesterday. So they have nothing to live for. So they can even afford to cause confusion. And they have benefited so tremendously from the sweat and blood of this country. They are so ensconced in the comfort of their ill-gotten wealth, because if you have so much money and you don't have a way to spend it, it's like going to have a good lunch and having no way to evacuate. So that's why some of them who cannot get to the corridors of power can sponsor violence. Or if you call their name, they lock you up just to, you know, make one problem or the other so that money will be spent. Because that is the situation we find ourselves. You will find that there's going to be a lot of argument to be or not to be, procedure or no procedure. And don't forget, 12 million naira is at the bargain. So these are the people who already have money. They don't need that money. They don't need that money. So that 12 million naira, you can even use it to get a few people who will be agitating outside the conference.
But we thought that there were those who initially opposed the conference and then later got converted and saw the need to have the conference. And some of them are now present.
Chamberlain, that is what I'm saying, that the best way to control and manage change is to bring it about. So you can direct the movement. You understand? But if you stay from outside, either the thing will crush you or you will not be able to influence it. Now they are inside it. You see, all those small insects that enter beans, if they were outside, they won't be able to effect any damage. But when they are inside, they will be feeding on the cotyledon. So that by the time you as human beings, you now find that you have nothing.
So we have spoilers within.
And they are in their plenitude. There are so many of them inside there. They are highly regimented, very rigid in their approach to life generally, not even only on the issue of conference. They have ingratiated because they have had their hands and legs for so long on the national treasury with impunity, and they have amassed more wealth than even some states of this country. But they operate from the sidelines. I do not agree with the learned SAN, who has made very substantial submissions that even if the president is well-intentioned, with all the enormous powers, presidential powers, you understand, he has under the Constitution, he should be able to bite. He should be able to bite.
For instance, how?
Okay, like, let's take the case of immigration. He was trying to be a little bit apologetic for the president with lots of intentions, but he's hamstrung by his circumstance. Those people who made this world at the early stage changed the circumstance. The world was not as beautiful as it is today. If your circumstance is not good and you have the capacity to change it for good. Do you understand what I mean? So, and you see, this country, we have many big cowards. Many of those people at the corridors of power are cowards. We saw it under Abacha. When all these people were shouting, when you grab one of them, every other person will pass through Cotonou. I don't know whether you get the point. But once you are doing it for the good of this country, the masses will support you. Masses are involved in all these criminal activities, and so as a little protest from their own little corner against what is happening at the level, at the national level, for which they cannot address. You understand? So if it is not possible to kidnap maybe a serving minister because he has police protection and all that, then we kidnap somebody either related to him or somebody that will raise some dust to show that the government is not working.
Because the masses actually say or think that the buck stops at the president's table.
That is what I'm saying.
Not many know of those nominees.
In our constitution, it is even far more so. You understand? He has this president, under the constitution, has the power of life and death. He can decide what quantity of oxygen you will take in one day and snuff you out of life by giving you less. I don't know whether you get what I mean. And in this country, the president can do anything. You can go to court later, but that is after you have received the pain. The point I'm trying to make is that if a snake decides to lie down there and old women use it to tie firewood, you understand? Then it is no longer snake. So the snake must bite. So the Constitution empowers the president. Look at even the way they are writing. This is the most vilified president under the sun. It's not even in this country alone. He's the most vilified, and it shouldn't be so. Because he has not made example of many of the people who are shouting corruption is like in the streets of Lagos today. Some people who shout ole ole are the oles. So the ordinary people are pursuing the thief with the thief without knowing that he's actually the thief. Do you understand what I mean? Like the critical incident, was it 2 days ago, was reported that, it was yesterday, Boko Haram was stopped and told police that Boko Haram people were pursuing him. They were so gullible, they were now following him and they detonated the bomb. And 5 of them just went like that, so cheaply. Do you understand what I mean? So what we are saying is that we must refrain from the crowd to see what the crowd is doing. This idea of trying to... I am not interested in the excuse industry because they have no products to sell. There are so many reasons why things don't work. But just one single reason why it must work. Look for it. That's why you are there. So if the Minister of Power, for example, is saying that vandalism and singing it as a song, I was listening to your intro. You understand? Who cares? Why do you hire a staff? Is it not to add value to the organization? The organization knows that there is a gap. Those who do human resources, management, know that you don't hire for the fun of it. You hire because there is need for it. So if that hire does not feel that need, then of course. Because
there was a Professor Nnaji at that saddle.
Let me even say, Nnaji is not my relation. But I have said on this set that when he came in, we saw the difference. In this country, some people now realize that Tokumba fridges may not be good enough because if they couldn't stand electricity for 14 days, Many of them were packing up. You understand? Because power came, constant and in the right dosage. It is this same country. If those people who are advising the president want him to succeed, why would they, for whatever reason, want him to change the winning teams? Check them out. Sack, sack was the refrain. It's only now that the president would have said, wait a minute. If this thing goes this way, me too, I might be sacked. He now decided to start looking inwards. When they say sack, he now takes his time. And they keep pressuring him, blackmailing him, and so on. So the president, as at now, as wine, would have matured. You understand? He should be a man of himself, because the buck stops on his